Hey, there we go. Okay. Live on Facebook, live on Instagram. Welcome to my platform. And as Facebook and Instagram is populating people into the room, let me go ahead and type the topic. Today's topic. What up, Rec? All right. So today's topic, I have a guest today as well. So, topic, how having the wrong man can limit your success. Success. And there we go. Pin to the top. Pin to the top. Okay. There we go. Okay. Ow. Hi, Facebook. Hi, Instagram. All right. So that is today's topic. And okay, so if you're watching, I just want to make sure you can hear me. Can you type? I can hear you in the comments, please. I just want to make sure. As I have told you, every time I go live, my greatest fear is that I'm talking and nobody can hear me. So if you could just do me a solid and type, I can hear you in the comments, and we will get today's show on the road. And I do have a guest today, so I'm really excited. I'm always really excited when I have a guest because then I don't feel like I'm talking to myself. So just type I can hear you in the comments, and let me close this real quick and open this. Okay. All right. We're going to get today's show on the road. Welcome to my platform. As you know, well, maybe you don't know, my name is Rika. I'm a certified NLP life coach, which means neuro linguistic programming. I've had a lot of certifications, including in psychology. I've had a certification and everything. Although I will say I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a therapist. I am just certified in the area of helping you learn how to set and keep boundaries with men. First of all, yourself and men. Okay. That's what I do. And in the era of self-love and self-care. So I don't call myself a dating coach. I'm a self-love coach and a boundaries coach. So if you feel like, you know what, I am this good woman, I'm a loyal woman to this one guy, or maybe it's been a few, if you think of your last couple of relationships, but you're frustrated and you're tired of giving second chances. You are tired of trusting he will change, and he never does, right? Because raise your hand, how many times have you written off guys? I hate him. I'm never taking him back, whatever. And then you do take him back 2 weeks later or 2 months later. Raise your hand if you've done that. So you are, this is what I call you, a professional, frustrated, loyal woman who is tired of giving second chances and trusting he will change. And now you're ready to learn how to set and keep boundaries with yourself and men. And maybe you don't know that you're ready, but now that I say that, you're like, yo, the boundaries that I have with guys are trash. And I need to figure out how to have better boundaries. Okay. So that's what my platform is here for. And I'm always here to sharpen your iron. And I hope that you understand that you are worthy regardless of your relationship status. Okay. So that's what I do. My name is Rika. And without further ado, let's bring the person that is going to be having this conversation with me today about the topic, how having the wrong man can limit your success. Okay. So her name is Cena Martin Chandler. She is my business bestie. We have the same business coach. And when I tell you, we were like, yo, we need to go on this ride together, because this building a business life is hard, rewarding, but it's hard. So, Cena, who you see on the screen now, is a mom of 2 boys. She's an author and a producer. And Cena helps. So, her lane specifically is she helps health coaches who have scaled fast onboard, hire, and train their first community manager. Cena, thank you. Welcome to the stage. Yes.
Thank you for having me, Rika. Hello.
I heard you giggling when I said building a business is hard, but baby,
ma'am. Okay.
we need each other. I'm telling you, Cena and
Yes.
I check in with each other. We make sure we do that. How are you doing? How are your clients doing? And everything, because you are, I truly believe that that saying, you are the 5 people you surround yourself with. So I always want to be having constant conversations on how to better ourselves, not just in the business, but just in our life, right?
Yeah.
And so I have you on today. And
Mm.
Cena, so I've said this before on my show. Before I have people on, I always send them a questionnaire because I kind of want to see where they are when it has to do with relationships and what they've been through and everything. Because I'm always looking for the story the angle that will help who I believe the women who are on my platform are, who are watching me. And when you sent me your answers back, I said, Cena, we don't have to do this. What? This is, you got a story, baby. And this is, oddly enough, I guess sadly enough, I actually know two people, you and this other girl, who kind of have a similar story,
Mm,
especially when it has to do with being in a cult and everything. And so we're gonna get into that conversation, and then
yes,
there is a happy ending. You're married now, and your husband is wonderful, at least from what I understand.
he is
And
the bomb.
right,
Amazing.
she's like, no, you girl, that's my baby, okay?
Yes.
Yes. And how he's actually really aided in helping you build your business and stuff. And
Yeah.
so we're going to get into that conversation. So let's start with the first question that I ask everybody. And Cena's answer is going to be very different than what you've heard on this platform before. So the first question I have for you, you know it, girl. Has anybody ever had a conversation with you about what makes a healthy relationship versus an unhealthy relationship?
No. And I actually had conversations around how to build unhealthy relationships and why I, as a woman, needed to stay in them.
What? Okay, you just, I want you to say that again. I want you to say that again.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
No, no, I never had a conversation around what healthy relationships look like. I
Yeah.
actually had conversations given to me about why I needed to stay in unhealthy relationships to support the man.
Why you need it. I just want that to, I just feel like we need to sit on that in a minute. And it makes me tear up. Like, this is
Mhm.
why I do what I do, because that's so sad to me that the people that you grew up with and surrounded yourself with, and we're going to get into it, literally told you you need to stay in this relationship regardless because you need to help this man.
Yes, ma'am. Very much so. Um,
Yeah, let's go into that.
yeah,
Why?
let
What?
me.
Yes.
I'll break it down. So, you may or may not be familiar with the Hebrew Israelite camps, churches. The
Mhm.
guys that are on a corner, usually in like full garb, and they're yelling and screaming and all of that, right? So, I actually was raised in one of those particular churches, right? And can you still hear me?
Can
Okay,
hear you. I
okay,
just like to mute my mic sometimes to give you your spotlight, girl.
okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so I was actually raised from the age of, we went into there when I was gosh, I was 8 going into 9. So we'll say 9 until about 21. I was there. And I was raised in the Philadelphia church. Anybody knows, I'm shouting y'all out. I don't care. Philadelphia, ICGJC, Israelite Church of God in Jesus Christ. That is the church I was raised in, um, very abusively. And my unique perspective from being a part of this and why I was taught what I just said was because I was actually the daughter of one of the leaders of the church. So not only was I in the cult, I was the daughter of one of the people who were in charge of the whole thing. Stepdaughter, because he married my mom.
Okay. So I want to make sure, because I want to be able to, if I ever spot these men, because you're saying that this cult, the Hebrew lights, are still out and about recruiting people.
Very much so. They're
Wow.
very much so, and they will specifically target you if you have young children, if you have young girls, young daughters that are
Yeah.
impressionable. If you have ever been in an abusive relationship, if you're searching for God because you feel really broken, especially now, COVID, things are going on, people are searching for answers. They will pray and they will target, and that was the situation with my mom. My mom had a lot of mental health issues, things that happened to her as a child that carried over into her adulthood. She was preyed upon, targeted, and recruited.
Yeah. Yeah. And so your mom, if you were 9, your mom was young. Maybe she was what, in her late 20s or early 30s, or
30s, around her
yeah.
30s, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And so they recruit her into this cult, which, by the way, if you're just tuning in, especially on Instagram, I know you can't see Cena's face. But if you want to go to facebook.com/single you academy, then you'll be able to see her beautiful face. And today's topic, we are discussing how having the wrong man can limit your success. And that's point number one. So these people recruit your mother,
Mhm.
and unfortunately, you're already learning that it doesn't matter if the relationship is happy or not. You are there to serve this man.
Very much so. I was
So,
told that was my key to salvation. That was my key to God loving me, was what I was taught since 9. Yeah.
Wow.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
obviously, right. So obviously, when you're 9, you don't know this is happening, right? You're just following mom or what
Yeah.
have you. So your mom gets married to this man, and so what are the things that you saw growing up that really affected the way that you thought relationships should go?
Yeah.
Because I always ask, and I know I've asked you on the questionnaire that I sent you, you know, do you know the difference between healthy hard versus dysfunctional? Where I assume you wouldn't know because they're telling you this is your literal salvation
Yeah.
is determined by if you serve this man or not. So yeah, so what are the things that you saw that today you and your husband you would never allow in your relationship?
The first thing is multiple wives. The first thing is bringing other women into the relationship, and I had no say so. That was number one. What you would see the equivalent of is like cheating or sneaking around or like the side piece girl.
Yeah.
They call that their other wife. So their version of other wife is going and picking up somebody that they met at a club, met at a party, creeping around with on the side. Now all of a sudden she's at the dinner table with us, and he's saying, "This is my other wife," and we don't know her. Like I've literally had women come stay the night with me and my mom who I didn't know because my stepfather said that was his wife. So that's the first thing. Just allowing no boundaries to be the normal of your marriage.
Yeah. And this is why we have to be careful. And I say this a lot now on my platform, especially well, I'm starting to say it a lot now. With being bold in what I say, because a lot of people love to message me and ask me questions about how I feel about Kevin Samuels or whatever guru man is
Yes.
talking about relationships. And I'm like, listen, y'all have to stop looking to people to help you define how you want to date. You need to look within, maybe read some books, get a coach, me, the coach, get a mentor, and you get to define it because I don't teach that's why I don't call myself a dating coach. I'm not going to teach you how to date. I'm just here
Mm.
to hold you accountable to the things that you say that you want. So if you don't want to be disrespected by having him cheat on you every third Wednesday or saying he has a other wife, then I'm going to hold you accountable to that and I'm going to help you strengthen that muscle. So as you're seeing this growing up, and this is one of the dangers of dating the wrong men, listening to the wrong men. So you're seeing this as a 9, 10, 11, 12-year old. How is that affecting you? Do you even know at that time, like, this is truly
No.
affecting me? Yeah.
No, it literally like destroyed my self esteem. I had no self esteem by
Yeah.
11. By 12, middle school, I completely. I used to go on diets because I was told at 13 I needed to be skinny for a man to love me. So I was dieting while my friends were going to middle school, right? Like just trying to
Yeah.
figure out what they wanted to do in life. And so what it was doing to me was it was total mind control. It was totally breaking me down as a person. I didn't see my worth or my value at all. And me and you have had these conversations
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
business of claiming our prices, raising our rates, all the stuff we need to like be successful business women. You know, that's what was stripped, and
Yeah.
that's kind of the goal is to like break you down as a woman so you will allow anything um in support of that man.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. If this is what he is trying to get out of you, and so I want you to, you're listening to this, you're watching this live, or maybe in the replay, or you're listening on Single You the podcast. Again, the topic is how having the wrong man can limit your success, right? So of
Mm-hmm.
course, you may not be in a cult, but that dude that you are continuing to minimize yourself for, walk on eggshells for, trying to set a boundary, but then you don't keep it, you break your rules for him because I love him. He's doing
Mm-hmm.
the same thing to you. You are literally, he's breaking you down, he is wearing you out, so then you'll just be there as a body. Like some men just like to have that type of control, and obviously they think this is some religious weird thing that they
Yeah.
deserve.
Yeah.
So of course they're gonna break you down. So then all you do is look up to them and say, "Yes, sir."
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So I heard you say like you were in middle school and you were going to school. So did you have outside contact then? So you went to like a regular school, or did they have the school?
Okay, so so the way it works with them is I went to a regular school, but you're not allowed to have contact with anybody outside of them. So the only contact is like go to school, come home, right? So
Yeah.
I was pulled away from my grandmother, who my grandmother and my grandfather, they raised me up until my mom came and got me and took
Yeah.
me into church. So all contact with family members was cut off. I didn't start talking to my family again until I was in my 20s. They didn't even know where we were.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
so all of that was cut off. I was allowed to go to a regular school, however, and I told you I was going to tell the whole story. So
Yeah.
that almost didn't happen because another belief that they have, and this is another reason I said be careful with these men. Like you said, whether they're in a cult or not, you don't know all what they're into. So my particular situation, these men were also into young girls. So I was almost married off between like 10 and 15, at least 10 different times. I would have gotten pulled out of my school and shipped to a whole nother state. And my mom, all she would have said was, whatever you want. Sure, take her. Sure, take
So,
her.
I, this excuse my ignorance and just being flabbergasted. You have said that before to me, and so I want to kind of stick there for a second. So they are trying to marry you off at 10, 11, and 12. How is your mother stopping this, or how are you stopping it? How is this not? How are you not? How are you here right now, Cena?
The Most High, God.
Right.
That's how I'm here. First, his protection. But what happened was one of the other wives actually she took me under her wing and she really became my mom. She went to my stepdad and said, "You're not touching her. Whatever what you're trying to do, shut it down. She's going to school. She's staying in Philly.
Yeah.
You're not doing it." So that protection came from her. But my mom was so wrapped up in this man. She was so willing to do whatever he wanted her to do. She was so willing to say yes that I could have very easily been in a whole nother state and trafficked, to be honest. And that
Yeah.
I have seen happen to girls that I grew up with, girls that I was friends with in that church, whose parents are still there to this day and
Yeah.
who are still members to this day because they won't break away from these toxic, evil men and
Yeah.
what they want them to do.
Yeah. Yeah. Because unfortunately, when nobody has the conversation with you, right? So
Yeah, it's a
not,
lot.
right, not only did nobody have the conversation with you, your mom is having some health issues, so it's even hard to save somebody when there's hmm, and
Yeah.
I don't want to disrespect your mom, but I'll just say when she's not in her right mind, right? And
Yeah, she
so
wasn't. She wasn't.
yeah, and so it's like, you as a woman watching this, count your blessings that you may have not, sorry, somebody's calling me, even though you may have not had the conversation, at least you weren't in a cult, but you are still sitting here letting a man dictate your relationship, because
Yes.
that's basically what's happening in cults, right? That's what's happening. And so you think you're listening and you think, oh well, that's not happening to me, what happened to Cena, but it is though.
Yeah.
If every time, listen, Cena, and I know you've heard my story before, but I've literally I had to call my friend Scott and tell him we couldn't be friends anymore in front of my ex, because he told me, if you truly loved me, that's what you would do. And so when
Hmm.
that mindset that I used to have was, well, men get to dictate the relationship. And I felt so naive in relationships because I never was like super serious with men until I got to like my mid 20s and stuff like that. And so
Yep.
because I was trying to get this goal in life, which is get married and have kids. So I'm just like, well, they say the guy pursues you, men are the hunters, like all of these stupid cliche sayings we have, and nobody actually sits down with you to say, baby girl,
Yes. This is what it looks like.
this is what narcissism,
Yes.
controlling, disrespectful, toxic ass relationships look like. Stop letting society and men dictate your life.
Yes, exactly. And it's and I have to say it, it's even
Yeah.
worse with like black women. It's even worse with us because we just get the bottom of the totem pole and we're told, well, if you want him to love you, you better lose some weight. You better make sure you take care of his give him some money when he asks for it. You got a good man, what you complaining about? It's like, why do we have to accept bottom of the barrel? What about
Yeah.
our importance? What
Yeah.
about our what about us being cherished? What about us being loved? And so I
Yeah.
had to relearn that because I learned none of that in there.
Right, and we're definitely going to get there. And listen, don't even get me started on, as black women, that's in our DNA from slavery. Like that, unfortunately, is one of the, there's a lot of negatives obviously from slavery, but one of them is us feeling like, I am just here to be your workhorse
Yes.
and tell me what I'm supposed to do. I'm gonna take care of the kids. I'm gonna take care of him. I'm gonna take care of Massa. I'm gonna take care. Look at what's happening with Simone Biles and
Yes,
Naomi
exactly.
Osaka. They are trying to break that tradition. No, baby, I'm not here to make you anything. We can come together as one and try to ascend together.
Yep.
But me trying to make you into something, I'm not doing that anymore. And that's what we as black women, especially when we think, well, I'm a good woman, and when we have this religiosity over our head about
Mhm.
what we think a good Christian woman is, because yes, you were in a cult, but let me tell you how
Mm-hmm.
Christianity turns us into that as well. Like, well, if I don't get the guy, if I don't get my Boaz, then that means I am less than. Like, there's
Mm.
just this warped thought process about what marriage means and what being with a man means that makes you into somebody who gets walked all over.
Yes.
Okay, so let's go, because girl, I said that's why I said don't get me talking about slavery and being black, because we're just gonna be on this DNA stuff for a minute. Stay on DNA. Okay, so you're in this cult, you're seeing all of these things.
Yeah.
Okay, thank God for that woman who was like, no, no, I don't even
Yes.
know where she got. Do you know where she got her strength from? Because obviously, if she's in this cult, she's also being disrespected. Why do you know? Why have you had a conversation with her about why she decided to cover you?
Yeah, in depth. We've talked about it.
Yeah,
She also went through the experience and of watching herself being broken down in there. But
yeah,
when it came to us, like her kids, and she took under her wing, she said, "Okay, it stops here. I'm
yeah.
not going to allow that to happen to." So she kind of took what happened to her, and she stopped it. She stopped it right. That was the end of it. And so she just was like, "I'm not allowing this to happen to her too."
Mm-hmm.
And she didn't allow it to happen to me. She didn't allow it to happen to my little sister. She has a 17-year-old daughter. Like didn't allow it to happen to any of us. So I
While
just
she's not allowing this to happen, is she still in the cult? Is she being abused because
no.
oh she left?
She left,
Oh,
but before she protected me first, and then she left.
okay.
That's how that
But
happened.
when she left, she didn't leave with you.
No, well, she left before me. Actually,
Yeah.
she got out before I did.
Okay.
I'll get to how I got out and how I left because that's when I
Yeah.
went into meeting my husband,
Okay.
and that was a whole experience. But I really wish that more. That's why I think the work that you're doing is so important because if more women could wake up and really realize like what's happening and what you're sacrificing to find love, to have a happy relationship or whatever you call it, it's like they would start protecting the ones that are coming after you, the ones who are
Yep.
watching you let this man treat you like
Yep.
shit. Like, I'm sorry, I just gotta
No, girl, I'm a cussing Christian.
like
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
would stop it. You don't realize you're teaching your daughter, you're teaching your niece, you're teaching the ones who are watching you how to not have boundaries, how to not be loved and not be respected.
100%.
We have to stop it at some point.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. Whew. Oh my gosh, there's so many ways we could go. But I like to stick to about 45 minutes to an hour. And so I do want to get to now how you got out. And before we do that, you know me, if you listen to my podcast, you're on my platform, I always like to prove my point.
Yes.
So my client, my ideal client, see, she thinks, well, I have my life together, I'm paying my mortgage, I'm badass, I'm INDEP, I'm independent, I'm doing all of this, I'm a boss chick, I'm da 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 da. But then over here in your
Mhm.
love life lane with this man that you continue to deal with is disrespecting you constantly. You're constantly minimizing yourself. You're constantly trusting he will change because he says, well, baby, you know, I love you, my bad. And he never changes, but you keep taking him back and you feel like trash. You are tired, right? But you think that you should stick by him because I love him.
Yeah.
I want you to understand that just because you're not in a cult does not mean that you did not go through and are not going through the same thing that Cena went through. See, because we think, and this is what I thought between 2015 and 2017 when I lost my damn mind. I don't know where it went, but I got it back. Thank you, Jesus. I didn't think I was being abused because he wasn't hitting me. So
Mm.
you know, especially if you're a millennial, we grew up in the 90s where we saw everything from baby boy to this and that, boys in the hood. And so what
Yep.
that taught us was as long as he wasn't hitting us, we're not being abused. And your society, your thoughts, stop gaslighting yourself. I had a whole episode a few weeks back called Are You Gaslighting Yourself Just to Be
Mm.
with Him? Because see, you think that men are just gaslighting you and they're the evil ones and they're this and that. But outside of a cult, you have choice.
Yeah.
You have choice. And you are constantly going, well, he'll change, it'll get better. And you're on this struggle bus of love. For what?
Yeah.
For what? Bella says, yes, girl, we have to change our minds. Mindy, how are you, sweetheart? Yes, I'm doing great. Okay, so do me a favor if you're watching this. Please share this video. I see a lot of shares already. But please, please, please share my videos. If you've been following me for the past, when did I start? End of 2018 was when I got my first client. You know my message, right? I am here to help the woman who needs to hear that singleness is not a punishment, that you are worthy regardless of your relationship status, that you can have true joy as a single woman. I'm not against marriage. Cena is married, and we're about to get into her relationship and how this being in this cult affected her, and then now how her and her husband are popping now. Hey, about to get into that because I'm so glad that this chapter of your relationship cycle ends well.
Yeah.
And so anyway, so yeah, share this video. If you're watching on Instagram and you want to see Cena's face, you're going to have to go to facebook.com/singleyouacademy in order to see her face. Actually, right now, what I'll do is I'll just flip the camera one time. Cena, wave at everybody. This is Cena. This is who I'm talking to. And we are going to continue the conversation. So here we go. All right. So she leaves, that woman who is your saving grace. End up not getting married off by the grace of God. I'm just blessing that woman right now, wherever she may be. Do you still talk to her?
Yeah, we still communicate all the time.
Give her a hug from me, because
I will.
if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't have my business bestie sitting right here with me. So praise God for her. So how old are you? What's the breaking point? Tell that story. What led up to you being like, you know what?
Yeah, this is some bull. So basically, so I have my son, so I wild out, right? And this is how I led to the bad relationships. Obviously, I had no foundation of what a good relationship looked like. So I just started dating anything that was walking, right? So basically, that happens. I go off on a whirlwind, and I have my first son. And that is when the breaking point started to unravel, because, I started saying, well, why am I in here with my child?
So wait, first of all, how old are you when you have your son? And it wasn't with a guy from your school or in the cult, or?
No, it was somebody I went to school with.
Okay. Wait, and how old were you?
So I was 17.
Okay. Yep. Go ahead. Sorry.
Senior year in high school.
Yeah.
So, so that happens, and then I'm like, okay, why am I still here? Like, what am I doing? This doesn't make any sense anymore. And I started getting pulled. I kept getting signals and signs, and I felt like Most High was like talking to me, like, do you want to raise the next generation in here? Like, he was pulling me to like wake up, right? And you know how we do, we ignore the signs. We keep trying to do it out, like, it's going to get better. I'm just going to find somebody. No. So one day I just got up and I just walked out. Like, I don't even remember what the service was about. I don't even know what they were talking about anymore. I just got up. I said, because they take our phones and things at the front door, so you can't even have your phone or nothing. So I went to the front door and I was like, can you give me my stuff? I'm leaving. And I just grabbed my son and I left, and I literally never came back. So wow. I just walked out the front door. Now, I know some people don't have that luxury, but I could feel it in my spirit that everything about being there was wrong, and I needed to get out.
See, and look, and this is what I'm going to say. And I understand circumstances, but I'm going to push back a little bit where you said that everybody, basically can't do it. I believe everybody can. There's resources out here to get the F out. There's resources, right? And so we just have to dig in deep. And you're so right. Like a few weeks back, I had a conversation on this platform about how we ignore our gut feelings and how it gets us in trouble, because that is literally your God voice. God is like, baby girl, he is my son. I get it, but he is not the one I have for you. Let me work on him, but you gotta go. You cannot be with this man. You cannot be in this situation. Your success will be limited. And I see success as also your happiness, your joy, your spirit. It's not even about financial gain, right? But we will get into that because that matters too. So you're 17 at this time when you were like, you picked up your son and you left?
That was at 21.
You go, Cena.
I was 21. Yep.
I know that's right. And
yeah.
So how did you have a plan, or you literally just got up and left and was like, I'm gonna figure it out? Or just like, where did you go? Your mom is in the cult. Like, what happened?
My whole life was in there. Like, my whole life was in there. I didn't have a plan. I just knew it wasn't the right. I knew it wasn't right. I knew it wasn't God. I knew it wasn't like my attached to my salvation. I knew I wouldn't die or get struck by lightning if I hit the front door. So
Right.
I was like, I'm just going to go. So I left, and I just like totally took off for a whole year from dating, from trying to find love, from trying to be in relationships. And I was like, who the hell am I? I need to figure out me. And I stopped for a year, and I basically dated myself for a year.
Yeah, yeah, and we don't do that. You know, I've said this before. Like we graduate high school, skip, and then we skip right on over self love, self actualization
Yep.
into now I got to get married and have kids. And
Yep.
that, so I feel like what I do is I'm here to fill in that gap. I'm here to help you figure
Mm,
that out because you got to figure that out
have to.
before you try to be married. Before you try to be somebody's wife, people want to be somebody's wife so bad because of a fairy tale or whatever, and you want to wear the white wedding dress. It don't make no sense. Again, no judgment is coming from a space of love. I was there. Okay. Okay. So you're dating yourself.
Yeah.
What does that mean to you? What are some of the things that you were doing?
Looking back on it, I had no idea what I was doing. I just
Okay.
knew that I was tired. I didn't even have the emotional like capacity to date anything. So I just knew I needed to pause. But
Yeah.
now, knowing what I know now, looking back on it, I was figuring out like my value, my worth. I was deprogramming myself from everything that was told to me, all of the bad relationships I was in, and I really was preparing myself for like what I wanted next, which was to be
Yeah.
to be a businesswoman, to be a wife, and to be a mom, like the best
Mhm.
mom possible. One thing I did say, I said I love her, and I'm gonna say this publicly too. Like I love her, and I do. I love my mom with my heart, regardless of everything that has gone on. But I promised myself and my whole family, I said I will be the best mom y'all have ever seen. I will
Yeah.
absolutely never do what my mom did to me.
Yeah. Yeah. And bless her. Bless her is just, hey, you're allowed to tell your life story. Um, so oh gosh, I just love 21-year-old you. I just love you. I'm just so dang on proud of. Do you ever like look back at yourself and you're like, bro,
Yeah,
like sis, look what you did
yeah.
for you.
It was
Look what
so
you
bold. It was
yeah.
so, yeah. I do.
I love it. I love it. Okay, so you're on this healing journey. You're raising your son. So he's if you had him at 17, how old is he at time? 18, 19, 20. He's 3, 4,
Yeah,
5. He's
yeah,
growing up. You're raising him. So then you meet this guy.
yeah.
Your
Oh God,
husband. Okay.
this guy.
Yes. So, well, first of all, let me say this. One of the things that I do love is that you, in your mind, was like, I'm going to be the best mom. I do want to be a wife and I do want to own a business, which those are all things that Cena is today. And we're going to talk about her business at the end. But I love that you were not. So I love that you did not lean into being bitter for the rest of your life
Mm,
because
yeah.
I remember that was one of the things that I said too. After I got out of that relationship, my emotionally abusive relationship in 2017, I really, and it was hard. And I asked God, I said, God, don't close my heart. I don't want to
Mm,
be mean. I don't want to be bitter. I didn't want to
yeah.
be mean. And so I had to go on that journey of really healing and understanding now my triggers and what now may show up in other relationships that are now triggers to me that I'm going to have to explain to a guy or whatever.
Yeah.
So I love that you made that choice. Do you know why you did? Like, why didn't you just say, you know what? This
Because it
is
was a
it.
waste.
I hate God. I hate, you
Nope.
know what I mean? God, you know, I don't
Nope.
hate you. That was just, I don't hate you. I love you. Um, but why? What was it
Yeah.
in you that was like, I still can show love. I still can have love, receive it, and give it.
Well, first of all, the fact that I got out of the cult, I was in a position where I had my whole life in front of me. I was like, one thing I'm not about to do, I'm not turning my back on God. That's dumb. Like, He's the reason I'm out of it.
Yeah.
So that protection was on me. My whole, that favor we talk about and that protection, that was like on me. So I knew that. And that was the first thing. And a lot of people get out of situations like that and they curse God, like Job, right? Curse God and die.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we're not doing that. He the reason I even made it out. You know what I'm saying?
You better
So
bring Job to the story. The Bible, look, Cena know her Bible. Go Cena. Okay. Yeah.
I just try to stay in it, but I know, so that was number one. And then the next thing was like, I have my whole life in front of me. And if one thing I'm not about to do is waste it on being bitter and blaming people. I'm gonna move
Yeah.
forward because I know there's still purpose. I woke up this morning, I'm breathing.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm worthy enough of love, and there's somebody out there who's going to cherish me and treat me right, and vice versa. So I just knew that in my
That's
spirit,
beautiful.
and that's
Beautiful.
where I did.
That is beautiful. I hope you hearing this, sis. Yes, I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you. I hope you heard that because I don't want you
Yes,
to hear. And that's what I say. I say, stop blaming these men about why didn't he and why won't he and what is this? Da 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 da. Choices.
yes,
It is about choices, and you need to start asking yourself why you stay. Why you stay. Okay, so let's get into your husband. So how long
yeah.
have you guys been married now?
We just did 8 years.
8 years. Woo, that was like a woo, Jesus. We made it, y'all. We made it.
Because
Okay.
I can't believe it, really. Like, it's,
Yeah, yeah,
yes,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So you are obviously in Philly going through your healing process. So how did you meet husband?
Well, as always, I was with my girlfriend, right? Me and my homegirl had went to like this it was like a friend's house or whatever, something somewhere we were at, and he was just kind of like in the corner on his computer,
Hmm.
and I was like, who that? You know, like, oh, he cute, and so I was like, okay, all right. So he, he was like nerdy, shy, but whatever. He didn't really want to talk, so we just kept circling around each other. Like we used to hang out at the same. It's this place called Dialogue in Philly. If y'all never been to Dialogue, y'all need to go check it out. It's really nice. They got good hookah. So we would go to and we would kind of circle each other around. And then one day, I told my friend, I was like, he playing. Just send him a message, like, and let him know that we need to talk on Facebook. And so I jumped in his DM, and I was like, we're gonna keep circling. I was like, why you being scary? Like, you keep
Yeah.
circling around me at the events when we going. So that was it. After that, he was like, this girl bold. Let me see what she's talking
Right.
about.
Let me find out you've always had that fire in you. Like,
Always
because
like,
most women, we don't want to approach men. We scared. We did whatever.
girl,
And so look at you. That's dope. You better be Ruth. I guess he your
listen.
Boaz. Listen,
And
because
listen, you gotta go get your blessing and stop waiting for him to come in with a Bentley and wine and roses. He gonna come, but you gotta be ready too. So
that's because people be so stuck on Christians. Let me just get my high horse when I talk about Christians, even though I am one.
mhm.
But everybody loves to like they believe too much into the he who finds a wife finds a good thing. That don't mean that he gotta always be looking for you, boo. You can be Ruth. You can be Ruth. Okay. And if you don't know that story about Ruth and Boaz, you need to open your Bible. Okay.
Going to read.
So right. Okay. So yes, you were bold and
Yep.
you wanted to talk to him. But were you scared at all? Did you have any
Very.
reservations? Yeah. So what was that like in trying to figure out? Because again, nobody had the conversation with you about what a healthy relationship is supposed to be like. All
Yeah.
you've seen is unhealthy. So
Yeah.
that's gotta be hard waters to tread. So what was that like?
I always say that me and him, like, we tumbled and we bled and we fought to get a good relationship because neither one of us knew what it was
Yeah.
supposed to look like. And so, after I like reached out, and he very much wanted to talk to me, he just didn't, right, for his own
Yeah.
reasons. So once we came together and we started dating, I tried to keep it in this bubble. I was like, I'm afraid of committing to anything that's real serious. So we need to keep it here. And I wasn't willing to really like expand it or let it become anything, but it became serious.
So when you say here, do you mean like building a friendship? Like what's here to you?
I
What
just
does that mean
kept
to you?
it like, I don't want to, this can't be something where like we come together and now we're talking about raising a family.
Yeah.
I wasn't trying to do that. Because I was
Mm,
so afraid that if I
mm,
did it, every example I ever had of marriage and raising a family before that was disastrous. It was
mm,
toxic and it was harmful to the woman. So
mhm.
I was so afraid that like I wouldn't be able to go after my dreams, and I wouldn't be able to have I wouldn't be able to raise my son right if I allowed a man to come into my world. So I kept trying to keep it in.
Mhm,
I
mhm.
kept trying to keep it out of being serious.
And you know what? That makes so much sense because you said that they taught you your job is to serve a man.
Yeah,
So, of course, when you're dating
exactly.
this guy, as fine as he may be, you like, you know what though? Let me just we're gonna take it like literally one day at a time.
Exactly.
And so you were you like, did the relationship progress very slowly? Did
No.
he understand that? It didn't? It was
No,
fast?
it was like a match. It was so, because we were like magnets. Like it was like everything about me. We fit like a puzzle. It was so
Yeah.
strange because he's very humble. He's very like, but he's also, if y'all can go check him out. Look up Kazi, aka, because he's an artist. Oh, that's the other thing. He was a recording artist. So like
Okay.
so many things about him, it just fit perfectly, and
Okay.
it was moving faster than what we even knew what to do with it.
Okay. Okay. So, okay, because I want to sit here real quick because yes, you were scared, and yes, you had, I guess the words trepidation or whatever, which is
Yeah.
totally understandable. So then how, and I know you said you guys tumbled and bled and fought for your relationship, but there had to be something about him then that was totally different from what your mom experienced and you being almost married off at 10, 11, and 12.
Yeah.
Can you tangibly explain what was so different about him then that you were like, well, I guess we're doing this?
he um he was willing to teach me what love looked like, and he
Oh,
was willing to be patient enough to teach me what love really was, and he knew I had no idea,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
that's what it was.
Yeah. And his love wasn't controlling.
No, it was
Yeah.
like, I'm here, I'm going to hold this space for you. And at the same time, his mom had just passed away not too
Mm.
long ago. His mom, and I know he'll be okay with me saying this, his mom passed away from a domestic violence relationship where the man actually killed her. So we were in that pain, and now
Jesus.
I'm gonna cry.
I know, Lord.
We were in that pain together.
Mhm. Yeah.
And because of that, we both were like, we have no idea what healthy relationships look like,
Mhm.
but my spirit is like attached to yours.
Mm.
And this must mean that the love that we want and the relationship we keep trying to find and all of these people that is not working with, maybe we're supposed to learn that from each other.
And build it within each other. I know. Let's take a moment, like,
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
his mom, man. When you see him, please give him a hug from me.
I will.
Girl, you trying to make me cry too. Like, this is why I do what
Sorry.
I do. We have got to stop this cycle. We have got to stop it.
I'm gonna pause 1 second so I can wipe my face.
Yep. Yep. We just,
I'm still here.
yep. Yep.
Woo. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what that was.
Yeah. Yeah. Ooh, that is so beautiful. And I love how you said he held space for me.
He
And
did.
you, for those listening, and you see when I asked Cena, is that relationship, was he controlling? And how quickly she was able to say no. Are you able to say that about your relationship that you're in now? That revolving door, the always trusting he will change, the always trusting that it will get better, the minimizing yourself, the walking on eggshells. He may not be hitting you, but he could be emotionally abusing you. He could be gaslighting you. And then, therefore, you're gaslighting yourself, thinking that it will get better. You deserve so much more.
Yeah.
We
You do.
have got to stop this. We have got, it is not that, if that is what relationships are, then I will be single for the rest of my life. But because I know who God is, I know that that's not relationships. I don't
It's
want a
not.
Cardi B and Offset relationship. I don't. I don't want a trap relationship. I don't. I
No.
have the audacity to believe that there is something out there better for me. And even if both of the guy that I find one day, if he never had the love that he deserved, and obviously I never have outside of my parents, then I love how you said we created that and we learned together. Because one of the things that you said that a lot of women cannot say, at least he was trying.
Mm. Yeah.
That baby was trying and holding space for you. Who, that's so beautiful. So your relationship is progressing and you guys are building this relationship in the back of your mind. So did you already have your business at that time, or did you start the business while this relationship was flourishing? How did that go?
Once I see the healing process and learning to love with him, it brought it out. I had
Mm,
the business in me the whole time, but I was so trapped in what I was going through and the control, it was holding everything in. So when he came in my life, it was like, all right, I have this dream and this business is for y'all to create. Now let's do it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's why the topic is how having the wrong man can limit your success, because what you just said, he helped you birth that in you. It was already there.
Yeah.
And now he's like, okay, because the love and the space that he is holding for you, the peace that he is giving you, now you're able to like work on some other things.
Yep.
Whereas a lot of my clients, my ideal client, unfortunately, she is so busy trying to build him up that her professional, even though she's professionally, or she is a professional, she has her career, she is paying her bills on time, she cannot rise on that level in her professional life, because you have this weight. So you got this weight and you trying to also be a boss chick? How?
You can't.
What are you bossing if you got a dude dragging you down? What are we bossing? I don't understand. So I'm here to help you adjust that crown. And so that's beautiful that you said that. So what were those conversations like when you're like, babe, I want to start this business? Or did he see, like, how did that happen?
Yeah, so it wasn't like this like perfect fairy tale. It was a
Right, of
lot
course.
of times where like we bumped heads. And I'm saying that to say, like, just to be realistic, we had conversations and the conversations would be amazing. Like, this is the business I want to start, this is what I want to do. And then he would be like, well, this is the record label I want to create and all of that. And but when we started trying to execute it, it was like, again, we had no idea what we were doing.
Yeah.
So we just bumped heads on a lot of stuff. We bumped heads on bills that had to be paid, but I was trying to invest in this coach and invest in this course. And it was crazy. But, you know, the thing that kept us like going was the support. Each of us were like an anchor to the other one.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the support, it was like, all right, babe, like, you're gonna make this investment, you're gonna get this coach. Okay. All right, well, I'll put in a couple of extra, let's work it together.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it, so this is why again, so on my platform, especially with my clients, we definitely dive deep with my clients, is really explaining the difference between healthy hard versus dysfunctional, toxic versus abusive. Because yes, it's going to be hard. Listen, life, we out here flapping in the wind. Come back. So life is already hard. But what I hear you saying is that the hard wasn't necessarily coming from within. You two supported each other in what you wanted to do, but the hard was, well, how do we do it? And
Yeah,
how do we become successful at it? And how do we work together? Am I hearing you correctly?
that's exactly what it was.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
And the
exactly.
yep. And the they always say the one percenters, Oprah will tell you this, Ayana Van Zandt, all the gurus, Deepak Chopra, da da da. You are the 5 people you surround yourself with. So who's in your ear? What is
Hmm.
that man you're dating telling you? So I'm pretty sure your husband was like, girl, you could do it. You know, you got this. You da, 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 like,
Many times I was like, I'm done with this, I'm getting ready to quit. He was like, yeah, right, girl, go get back on the computer, go finish that sales page. Like,
yeah.
it was it was like iron sharpens iron.
Yep.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, and I've heard a lot of married people that I now talk to a lot who are happily married, because there's a difference. Just because you're
Yes.
married don't mean you success. Um, they will say your boyfriend when you're dating, and then when you get married, you should not. He should not feel heavy.
Mm.
So when he is building you up, that feels good, right? Like that feels light to you. He doesn't feel like, oh, I'm just like trying to build
Yep.
this man up, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's not, and see, I think that is the thing I had to relearn. I had to learn the difference between supporting and serving him.
Mm-hmm.
There's a difference.
Yep.
You can support your boyfriend, there's a difference too between boyfriend, but you can support him in his dreams and his goals, what he's trying to accomplish. But when you're doing it at the detriment of yourself,
Mm-hmm.
and when you're doing it in a way where your service ship to him is depleting who you are as a woman, then it's a problem.
Girl, listen, we at the poetry spot? I feel like she said there's a difference between supporting him and then what was the other one? You said
Serving him.
and serving. There we go. You're so right.
Yeah.
Support is the encouragement, it's the holding space for each other, it's the love, it's the words, but it is not, and this is what I try to do. It is
Mm.
not, well, I can create that in him.
Mm.
I can make him become, because I'm a good woman and I deserve a good man and it's gonna be him. So we gonna figure this out. Nah, boo. That is
Mm-mm.
a self-fulfilling prophecy. You cannot make him anything. You are not God.
No, you're not. You
We're
are
not
not.
God. as much as we, black girl magic, and you got this girl, and you go girl, and girls are, what is it? Girls are smarter and men are stupider or something. I don't, whatever. Fine, but you are not anybody's god but your own.
Mm-mm.
Like, you know what I mean?
Mm-mm.
Like, so you can't do that. So okay,
No.
so then when did you get? Because I want to now get into your business now.
Yeah.
Again, you for those of you who just tuning in, Cena is she helps health coaches. So if you're a health coach or want to become one, health coaches who scaled fast, onboard, hire, and train their first community manager. So she is helping you within your business. So Cena has a business to help you as a health coach, who's probably overwhelmed right now, and we'll get into that. So once you when do you feel like you and him finally kind of got into your stride of now you have this business, he's doing his thing, he's supporting you, he's encouraging you. When do you finally feel like you got into your stride? Are you 2 years in now, a year in? Where you at?
Yeah. So, oh gosh. So we were probably 4 years in. We were about 4 years in, and that's when we kind of hit. Like, I basically quit my 9 to 5 full time. He was like, "Do this full time," and I became full time CEO. That was 2017, and we were doing it. Like, he was doing his retail, and he does merch and things like that. So we kind of had hit our stride there, and we knew that, like, the commitment to each other, we were very clear this was going to be a forever thing. So because we knew that, we was like, okay, whatever comes up in this relationship, whatever comes up in this marriage, like, we're going to do this together. So now let's turn our focus to how do we build this life and build these assets as a team.
Beautiful. Wow. That is beautiful. I had a friend ask me, he was like, yo, how would you feel? Because he knows my story and stuff. And he was like, what do you think it would be like if you had a guy who actually supported you?
Mm,
Because and we got into the conversation on how I feel like I would probably, and I don't really have, I try not to have regrets, and God is good and everything's working out for me, but how much further in my career, especially when I was, I'm radio personality, and when I was in Indianapolis on TV and everything.
yeah.
And unfortunately, I've always had boyfriends that have been anchors. I've never had a boyfriend who was like a balloon. Like, he never, all my
Yeah.
boyfriends always
Yeah.
felt heavy. And he was like, what do you think it would feel like if you had a guy support you? Do you think you would have been further? And I was like, absolutely, but it is what it is. And I said, and that is why I will never settle again, because I know
Mm,
the detriment it has done to me to be trying to build these dudes up, because I've always had my ish together.
yeah.
Like, I went to Howard University. Like, I've always had my ish together. In fact, I was as bold as you were, and I'm gonna give you more of the props because you had a whole cult to leave. But I never got a letter that I got into Howard University, and I wanted to go so badly that my
Wow.
mother put me on a plane by myself. Well, I was with a group out of Seattle that did like HBCU tours, and she
Yeah.
was like, "You want to go?" And I said, "Yep," because I was going to ask them what's good. Like,
Wow.
I applied to Howard University, and I need to know if I got in. Like, I was
As
not
you
going in.
should.
I was 18 from Seattle, Washington, going all the way to Washington D.C. to ask a question.
Mm,
And I say that to say that is the fight and the fire that has always been into me. Because, by the way, I did get in. I graduated class of '06. Holla at your girl.
mm,
Um, that is the fire and the fight that I always had in me that men took away from me. Slowly,
mm.
slowly, slowly. And actually, I'm going to do you one better and say I allowed them to take it away from me.
There it is.
Hmm.
There it is.
Because I thought I was in this bubble of, well, that's the goal. So I have to get married and have kids. So I got to figure out how to work this out. And I was sticking with men longer than I should have. And so if that resonates with you, listen, you and I may need to work together as coach and client. Obviously, me, the coach, you, the client, because that is exactly what your husband did for you. And that is
Mm,
why, on the positive side, not take away from you, but that is why I titled today's episode, How Having the Wrong Man Can Limit Your Success. Because if he would have been an anchor, do you
yeah.
believe that you would be as successful as you are today in your own business?
No, I don't think so at all. I don't. And when I say, I think when I said we were anchors to each other, he kept me grounded.
Yeah, and I definitely knew the difference between what I was saying
Yeah,
as anchor and you saying
yeah,
as anchor. Absolutely. Yep.
yeah.
Yeah.
But without that, no, I wouldn't have been, because first of all, it's like when you have that, when you have something that consistent in your life, it makes you stay focused.
Yeah.
And when you had, I couldn't imagine being in like some of the relationships I was in when I was like in high school, and just who I dated when I was trying to find my way and stuff like that. Like, it was so much drama and foolishness and madness. I wouldn't have been able to focus on building a company, because
Yeah.
that just has so many pieces to it. You can't have somebody pulling your creativity and pulling your spirit away from you.
Yeah.
You can't have it.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially if you're going to be an entrepreneur, because even if you're not like an artist or whatever, we're creatives, Cena. Like
Yeah, we
you
are.
and I are creatives. Like this, the brain power, our intellectual property that is needed to run the business. When you are weighed down by all that drama and foolishness and childness and blah blah blah, you are not you are going to be
Mm-mm.
unhappy. I don't care if you have the CEO position at whatever. Your unhappiness to me is what success is. So
Mhm.
as you're listening to this, I want you to think about the guy that you're dating. Is he the anchor in the negative way, where he is weighing you down and taking from you and never pouring into you? Or is he actually your anchor that reminds you of who you are? And we gonna get these coins, baby,
Exactly. Together, okay?
together, and we just gonna figure it out. We gonna figure it out,
Yes.
without the disrespect and the foolishness and all of that. So talk about your business. So you said 4 years in, and now you're 4 years into the relationship, you guys hit your stride. Your business as being a person who coaches health coaches.
Yeah.
How long have you had that business? Is that the business that you started with him?
Yes.
Okay.
So this business really started around that time, right? And it transformed. Like, I changed my, like we all do. I changed my audience a couple times. I had to change my
Yep.
product a couple times,
Right.
but it definitely, that was the year, because 2017 was the first time we hit six figures. We did
Wow.
$123,000 and 56 cents that year. Don't forget the 56 cents.
Okay, because it matters.
Okay.
You said we was collecting coins. That is a coin. It's a
Okay.
coin.
And so that was the first time we did that. And then, now we're on track. If we keep going the way we're going, we're going to do seven figures in 2 years.
I know that's right.
And I'm just like, but the company, I was always in coaching, right? And coming from where I come from, my background, like, I'm known for helping my clients have the biggest mindset shifts,
Yeah.
because I had to because of what I had to do to basically come out of my situation. So now I work with, like you mentioned, health coaches who their business it grew way too fast. Like, if you grew more than 150% over the last 12 months, you and I need to have a conversation, because 9 times out of 10, my clients are overwhelmed with one-on-one calls. They're doing too much. They're trying to serve their group coaching programs, and it's all them.
Yeah.
They need to get out of the manager role. They need to figure out how to be less responsible for delivering all of the programs. So I teach you how to set up your operations. I teach you how to hire a community manager to get at least 80% of the coaching off of your calendar.
Yeah. So this is what I hear you saying. So obviously I have a business, and I know, like, when you're just starting and it's still just me. I mean, I do have a video editor. Shout out to Joe, and my publicist. Shout out to Ivan. Just because I'm also, not only am I running my business as a coach, I'm a radio personality, I'm a TV personality, podcast.
Yeah.
I'm doing so much, but it is just me. And so I know, like, the flow of your business and the operations that you have in place is important.
Yeah.
So what I hear you saying is, if you're listening and you're a health coach and you are overwhelmed,
Yes, ma'am.
you may be hitting your numbers, but you are overwhelmed
And burnt to the tip.
and starting to hate your business, I guess, because if you're being burnt out, sucks. Like, I've been there. So if you need that help, Cena is the coach for you. And there are, I've said this all the time, like, the coaching world is blowing up now. And so there are coaches in different lanes. So obviously I'm a boundaries coach. And I help you discover your worth as a single woman. Cena is a coach to the health coaches. And so her information is on the screen. That is her Instagram and her website. Is there anything else you want to say to your ideal client?
Yeah, just I know we were talking about boundaries in this episode. I just want you to think about the boundaries that you have in every relationship in your life,
Mm-hmm.
like with your clients and with your personal relationships. And if you are ignoring your boundaries in any capacity, then you need to take action on that.
Mm-hmm.
Long term, that's not going to work out for you in
Yeah.
regards to growing your business. Something's going to break. So if you feel like you're giving away too much, you're doing too much, you're overwhelmed, like I said, feel free to reach out to me. And if you need help on the relationship side and you're breaking your boundaries over there, reach out to Rika.
Yeah. 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 And obviously, because, you've had your business for a while, and for you to hit six figures and you going for that seven, you know, the systems and stuff to have in place. Like, she a health coach, but I'm like, shoot, I might have to hire Cena here down the road. Um, you know, I haven't hit six figures yet, but I am claiming that for this year. And I'm a little over halfway there. And if I can,
You
like,
got it.
you know what I mean? Like,
You got it.
and then I'm also like, shoot, maybe I need to go out here and start dating and find me a man who actually wants to support me, so I can get the support system. Not, of course, not to say that I can't do it as a single woman. Look at Oprah, but she also had men.
She did.
You know what I
She
mean?
did.
You know. So okay. Is there anything else you want to say about your business? And then also, is there anything else you want to say about the topic, how having the wrong guy can limit your success? I just want to make sure we didn't miss anything.
Mm-hmm.
So,
No, I don't think we missed anything. I just real quick about the business, I will
yep,
share that for September we are going to run an 8-week implementation program. So if you don't have the time to commit to like a super long program, but you want to basically bang out and get some operations in place, some client delivery systems in place, and you want to hire somebody in 8 weeks, we are opening doors for that soon. So reach out to me and just send a DM if you
yeah,
want to be a part of that.
yeah. And I'm just gonna say one more time, if you're just tuning in, who is your ideal client? What's your program promise, Cena? Who do you coach?
Yeah, I coach health coaches whose businesses grew really fast.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yep. And they overwhelmed and they need your help. So
And
there
they
you go.
overwhelmed. Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, Cena, I feel like I know that there are so many other questions that I could have asked you and stuff, but we got basically down to the nitty gritty and the gist of it. The man that you choose matters more than you think it does.
Mm-hmm.
And it's way more than, well, my vagina is WAP when I'm around him. And so that means we
Yep.
must be together. No, it doesn't.
Yep.
We have to take more seriously our relationships, because when you do, that means that is a breeding ground for you to be successful in your life, like Cena. If Cena didn't have the husband she has now, she literally says she would not be where she is today,
Yes.
making six. She does not work for anybody.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
She
For
works.
many years, and I'm 30. And
She
I'm
younger than
30.
me. She started earlier than me. I'm 8 years ahead of Cena, but that's because I was in radio for a while. But you see what I'm saying? So we can't be wasting our time at 22 and 25 on these deadbeat relationships.
No, please don't. Please
They are
don't.
trash. Exactly. So if you want to reach out to Cena, here's her information on the screen, and I'll type it in the description as well, especially if you're listening to this on the podcast. Other than that, I think we did it, girl. We did it.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Of course. I know. I'm like, I need to have Cena again. Like, wait a minute. Exactly. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and end the broadcast. But Cena, you stay on.
Okay.
But I'm going to end the broadcast. And if you have any questions, go ahead and hit me up. All right. Bye, everybody. Bye.